How do you in relation with the roadmap?
Because according to the program at the policy clinic, we do have yes. Yeah. No. Now. No, now and then which is after. Yes. Yes. So now, yeah, until 6. From 3 to 6. It's 1 event. Yeah. The new and the schedule. This is not the same event.
Ecco, yo lo he entendido así. Yo salgo a las 4 a las 5 porque tengo una mesa de nivel. Yeah, because I'm doing this against the real I'm in 2 places, really in 2 places.
Your own space.
Yeah.
If you have very few people, you have Yeah? Okay. How does this?
So that's,
I need to push.
yeah, then it's on.
When they speak, they should press on and off, so we shouldn't have multiple
Okay, and they are connected. They know to start.
Yeah. So that should be fine. Yeah. We're good.
Mari, let me know when to start.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Good afternoon. Welcome to our session. So we have the honor to have two representatives from the European Commission giving remarks this afternoon. So I will briefly introduce both of them. We have Patricio Ortiz de la Torre, who is a Spanish mining engineer with over 25 years of experience in Spain, Ireland, and Belgium, and has worked for the European Commission since 2004, joining the European Research Executive Agency in 2009. As of 2024, he serves as head of sector in the Inclusive Society Unit, focusing on cultural heritage within Horizon Europe's Cluster 2. Then we have Juliana De Francesco, who is a policy officer at the European Commission's Directorate General for Research and Innovation, focusing on innovative research in the cultural and creative sectors. A seconded national expert from the Italian Ministry of Culture, she brings extensive experience in European cultural policy within the EU and the Council of Europe, as well as research and digital innovation for the cultural and creative sectors. Her background spans international relations, classical antiquity, medieval manuscript curation, and library and information science.
Should we start? Yeah?
Yes, now we can hear you, Patricia.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. As introduced, I'm Patricio Ortiz de la Torre, Head of Sector at the Inclusive Society Unit at the European Commission's European Research Executive Agency, REA. Thank you for inviting me to this Pacesetters Summit. This event focuses on how diversity in art and culture can play a key role in supporting the climate transition and boosting Europe's competitiveness. While I would have preferred to join you in person in Malaga, I'm joining online due to our busy schedule. Indeed, this is an honor to address you all today during the opening remarks and to provide you with an overview of Horizon Europe Cluster 2, creative and cultural industries, and their role in the sustainable climate transition. In this slide, you can see the table of contents that I will follow in my presentation. Horizon Europe is the EU's key funding program for research and innovation, with an indicative amount of 93.5 billion euro of funding available for 2021 to 2027 to organizations in the European Union, the 20 associated countries, as well as numerous third countries. Thus, it is one of the most ambitious research and innovation programs worldwide. The program facilitates collaboration and strengthens the impact of research and innovation in developing supporting and implementing EU policies. This next slide shows the distribution of roles in a nutshell. The European Commission, represented today by my colleague Giuliana Di Francesco, that will take the floor after me, is responsible for policy making and the work program. REA for call and grant management, and the project coordinators represent the consortium. As you can see in the slide, Horizon Europe is split into 3 pillars: excellent science, global challenges, and innovative Europe. Whilst each pillar has its own focus and methods, the pillars support and enhance one another towards the overall goal of a more competitive and innovative European Union. Horizon Europe is the main program managed by REA. We implement 22.7 billion euros budget for Horizon Europe, almost a quarter of the overall budget, and 7 Horizon Europe sub-programs, those inside the boxes in the slide. The pillars contains thematic clusters. There are 6 in Pillar 2, including Cluster 2, Cultural, Creative, and Inclusive Society, that our unit manages. Cluster 2 has 2.28 billion euros funding during this European Union budgetary period. In addition to the Directorate General for Research and Innovation, we liaise with DG Education, Youth, Sport and Culture, and DG Employment, Social Affairs and Inclusion. The objectives of Cluster 2 are strengthening European democratic values, including the rule of law and fundamental rights, safeguarding our cultural heritage, and promoting socioeconomic transformations that contribute to inclusion and growth. Cluster 2 is subdivided into 3 destinations, the second of which focuses on innovative research and European cultural heritage, and the cultural and creative industries. On the slide, you can see the list of projects under Horizon Europe's Cluster 2, specifically focusing on creative and cultural industries and sustainable climate transition. There are a total of 7 projects. 3 are research and innovation actions from the 2023 call, which includes the Pacesetters project. Additionally, there are 4 innovation actions from the 2024 call, including the MCINO project, which is also represented at the summit. The clustering of these projects is designed to achieve several key objectives: sharing insights and best practices among participants, avoiding duplication by leveraging existing platforms, networks, or clusters related to CCIs, identifying synergies for dissemination and communication activities, and agreeing on joint activities such as conferences, formulating recommendations for feedback to policy, and providing a unified approach and a single point of contact for stakeholders and the European Commission. Here you can see the project life cycle, starting naturally with a call for proposals and ending with the project closure. I will outline now in more detail some of these processes. A frequent question is, who exactly is eligible for Horizon Europe funding? Of course, organizations that it's legal entities from the 27 EU member states, but also those from countries that are associated to Horizon Europe. In addition, numerous low and middle income countries can participate. You can follow the link for further details. This approach fosters and diverse research ecosystems, bringing together a community of knowledge and expertise from around the world. Let's discuss now a vital part of Horizon Europe, the evaluation process. The standard independent evaluation process adopted by Horizon Europe is meticulous. Each proposal received goes through several critical stages, including an initial admissibility and eligibility checks. This is followed by the assignment of experts evaluators, a minimum of 3 experts and sometimes more. Initially, each proposal is assessed by each of the experts individually. After this individual evaluation, the experts meet to collectively review the scores and comments and to arrive at a consensus. This collaborative process fosters consistency and fairness, ensuring that every proposal is evaluated on its merits and potential impact. The panel review then provides an additional layer of oversight, checking these evaluations for consistency across the board, resolving any discrepancies and ranking proposals with identical scores. It is this meticulous attention to detail that upholds the integrity of our selection process and guarantees that only the most promising projects are funded. On the slide, you can see statistics from previous Cluster 2 cultural heritage calls, where success rates have generally remained stable, ranging between 10% and 15%. From the 2025 work program, which closed last September 16th, a total sum of 357 million euros is allocated across 32 topics, aiming to fund 84 projects in total. From the cultural heritage part, we have 8 topics in Destination 2, with 94 million euros available for fund about 25 projects. 3 of these projects will be selected through a 2-stage call for proposals, where applicants had initially submitted a shorter summary of their proposal. Also, the co-funded European Partnership for Resilient Cultural Heritage has 60 million euro to fund 1 project. On the slide, you can see the number of proposals submitted to this call, to the 2025 call, which reflect an 80% increase in applications compared to 2024, the previous call, and an impressive nearly 250% raise compared to 2021. Whilst I appreciate the level of expertise and experience of this summit, I hope you will allow me just to remind you a few do's and don'ts for applying to Horizon Europe. As with any application for funding, there are a few general rules, for example, time management. Neither rushing nor last-minute submission are advisable. Usually, the experts will spot any overselling and using too many buzzwords will not convince them either. Be clear and realistic and don't write too much. Do contact your national contact points. The link lists them for more information. Also try to learn from successful previous applicants. Don't forget that you may upload improved versions of your application until the deadline. Some more do's include knowing the work program inside out, the details matter, and sticking to its objectives and budget. Use the templates provided and complete all necessary tables and charts. Make full use of available help, such the funding and tender portals, info days, etc. Knowing the relevant EU policies for your field helps put your proposal into a broader perspective. Finally, becoming an expert evaluator allows you to see the other side of the process. This means that experts often become excellent proposal writers. Therefore, I encourage all you to enroll as an expert evaluator. This will not only allow you to provide your unique perspective on proposals, but simultaneously acquire an invaluable skills that may transform you into a better proposal writer. independent experts evaluators underpin Horizon Europe, helping us collectively move forward. We are always looking for experts, especially from underrepresented fields and countries, to evaluate proposals and to monitoring running projects' progress. Please click for more details. We look forward for your application. I would like to finish by illustrating the theory with one example of projects funded under Horizon Europe Cluster 2 from the 2022 call, the Rescue Me project. Rescue Me focuses on enhancing the resilience of cultural heritage. Its main outcomes includes the integration of existing European-level data with local and regional information, utilizing crowdsourcing and artificial intelligence solutions to jointly assess heritage values. Additionally, the project evaluates risks and cultural ecosystem services through a social, ecological, technical system lens. A key component is the co-development of inclusive and equitable resilience strategies with local communities, incorporating local values and knowledge, along with contributions from the cultural and creative industries. Ultimately, this initiative aims to establish a resilient historic landscape framework. On the slide, you can see the 5 proposed pilots of this project. Since we are in Spain, I would like to highlight the pilot project in Valencia, which focuses on the historical irrigation system and its response to flood threats, among other challenges. So I hope I have seen the major role of Horizon Europe's Cluster 2 plays in creative and cultural industries and the role in the sustainable climate transition. Many thanks to organizers, to all you for listening, and special thanks to Melpomene Visica, the project officer who has arranged our participation to this summit. I'll now hand over to Juliana De Francesco, Policy Officer from DG Research and Innovation in the Democracy, Equality and Cultural Unit, who will focus on the policy aspects and future opportunities for funding. Thank you very much.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? I had lots of technical problems today, so I would like to check that everything works fine. Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning. I am here to give you a short update on the policy framework that is related to Pacesetters and this summit, and in general the EU developments. I think I cannot move the slides, so yes, this is the next slide. So as you know, since November 24, we have a new commission in place, and this new commission is implementing a series of priorities. And I would argue that the cultural and creative sectors could contribute to most, if not all of them, and be influenced by many of them. Going very quickly through the array of priorities, knowing that you can find them thoroughly explained in this booklet, Europe's Choice, that was published last July last year, sorry, not last July. The first one is a new plan for Europe's sustainable prosperity and competitiveness. This is a very important priority, especially for creative industries. Under this priority, you find, for example, the Clean Industrial Deal, the Competitiveness Compass that were already published, the AI Continent Action Plan and all the measures it includes, for example, AI factories, putting research and innovation at the heart of our economy, Choose Europe, the Choose Europe initiative for researchers, the Union of Skill to tackle the skill and the labor gaps. Under the second priority, a new era for European defense and security, you will find the continued support for Ukraine, for example, including its cultural heritage and cultural and creative industries, or a vision for agriculture and food that is shared with another of these priorities. Under supporting people, strengthening our societies and our social model, you will find the new European Bauhaus, an initiative that is probably very well known to you by now, that has now a dedicated facility with independent budget, and that, under the motto Beautiful, Sustainable Together, leverages the contribution of creative industries to sustainability and the beauty of our cities and neighborhoods. Sustaining our quality of life, food security, water, and nature is complementary for the vision for agriculture and food. And for those of you that are a bit into intangible heritage, we might consider several practices, including related to food, as contributing to this, for example. Protecting our democracy, upholding our values is an area where culture and creativity can make a very strong contribution, as acknowledged by the Culture Compass we are going to mention shortly. And finally, a global Europe, leveraging our power and partnerships, the international dimension of cultural creativity, the arts, and the international cultural relations strategy of the EU are under this priority. So moving to the next slide, during Pacesetters kickoff, I was quickly mentioning a series of steps of key moments in policies for culture and creativity across the last almost 20 years. The first one being the European Agenda for Culture in a Globalizing World that was adopted in 2007. If we go to the next slide, you will find that in 2018, during the European Year of Cultural Heritage, a new release of an agenda for culture was adopted that was substantially updating priorities, aims, and objectives. And today, next slide, the next crucial step happened. I had to update these slides a few minutes before the session because this morning the European Commission adopted the Culture Compass for Europe that updates and replaces the new European Agenda for Culture, provides a general strategic framework for the future cultural policies, and includes a series of flagships that you might wish to look into. The document is already available online. A few weeks ago, another important strategy was adopted, the Apply AI strategy, that includes, among 11 sectoral flagships, a flagship on the cultural and creative sectors and industries that will be managed together with the Directorate General competent for cultural policy, DG EAC. And another important strategy that we are looking forward with great interest is the AI strategy for the cultural and creative sectors. This is foreseen already in the AI Continent Action Plan. It's again mentioned and partially explained in the Apply AI strategy. Commissioner Mika Leff is expected to work on this strategy together with Commissioner Virkkunen, and it should be adopted between the end of 2026 or the beginning of 2027. Next slide. I would like to mention a report that was also just being released by the European Environment Agency, as it seems relevant for this context, which is the Europe's Environment Report 2025. The European Environment Agency provides evidence that helps decision maker understand the challenges and allow them to devise solutions. But it's interesting for professionals and the general public as well. The report is grounded on latest scientific evidence. It provides a comprehensive assessment of environment, climate, and sustainability across Europe. And although it underlines positive trends, such as a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution, it also reveals that in general, Europe's environment is in a poor condition. Nature suffers from degradation, overexploitation, and biodiversity loss. It's in any case an interesting reading for us. The next slide presents the general structure of Horizon Europe that was already introduced, that you will be familiar with. The activity, our activity, I am working for the GRTD, the unit Democracy, Equality and Culture, is located within the second pillar, Global Challenges and European Competitiveness, Industrial Competitiveness, and contributes to Cluster 2, Culture, Creativity and Inclusive Societies. In the next slide, you will find the 3 destinations included in Cluster 2. We work at innovative research on the European cultural heritage and the cultural and creative industries, whose expected impact is mobilize the sectors to pursue sustainable innovation and a European sense of belonging in a continuous engagement with society. Next slide. Our main work consists in devising work programs. The work programs contain calls for proposals, and these calls for proposals articulate in call topics that are the topics to which consortia apply to get funding for their projects. You have already heard something about the functioning of the evaluation process. On this slide, you will find the call topics that are currently under evaluation. So hopefully some of you applied to some of these topics. One of them is devoted to artificial intelligence for creativity-driven innovation. We have one on intangible cultural heritage for societal resilience, more specific ones on culture in virtual worlds, design, cultural strategies for peace, culture for health and well-being. I am able to anticipate work programs 26-27, next slide, because a draft was provisionally published. This draft can still change, but we don't expect it to dramatically change anymore. Anyway, it will be adopted towards the end of this year. At least this is our expectation right now. Work Program 26 includes topics on leveraging, harnessing the power of the arts to address contemporary challenges, societal challenges, but also to enhance the soft skills that are needed both for the industry and public administration and for boosting, in general, innovation and competitiveness. There is a topic aiming at bridging our research activity with the activities supported by the European Innovation Council through creative startups. 2 topics will develop research on AI and the cultural and creative sectors and their markets. We have 1 topic devoted to creative alliances, including a focus on the internationalization of creative industries, and other specific topics address linguistic diversity and illicit trafficking of cultural goods. In 2027, next slide, we will have another topic on AI for creatives that is a coordination and support action that is meant to bring together and bring forward all the good results of the previous topics and projects. And we have a topic on the circular economy, so the contribution of the culture and creative sectors to circular economy, a priority under the first priority of this commission, so sustainable competitiveness, and where some sectors some creative sector have a particularly important impact. And then we have a follow-up on the topic on culture for health and well-being, an experiment on culture and the social economy, sustainable cultural tourism that follows up to a very successful called topic a few years ago, and a couple of topics devoted to cultural heritage, societal impact, and safeguarding of intangible cultural heritage. It's a bit quick, but that's just an overview. You can look for the actual document, keeping in mind that details can still change. Next slide. Yes, that's the way ahead. A few words on what's happening right now. But before that, we need a short peel on European co-decision. What I'm going to quickly present is the Commission proposals for two programs that are following up to our activities in MFF, the Multi-Annual Financial Framework 28-34. In fact, the Commission has the right to legislative initiative. The Commission is the only body in the EU that can table proposals. But those who decide, who take final decisions, are the Council and the European Parliament. So these two co-decision bodies, these two actors, are currently examining these texts and possibly proposing amendments. And the three actors, Commission, Council, and Parliament, will have to agree at the end of this lengthy procedure on just one common text. So now we have the proposals by the Commission for all the programs implementing Multi-Annual Financial Framework 28-34. We expect that the structure will not be dramatically changed, but yet anything could happen because the decision is not completely in the hands of the Commission. That said, we have a proposal for a European Competitiveness Fund that is including four so-called policy windows related to the clean transition, health, biotech, agriculture and bioeconomy, digital leadership, and resilience and security, defense and space. Of these four windows, one, the digital leadership one, explicitly mentions the culture and creative industries as contributing to pursue this priority. The European Competitiveness Fund will be strongly linked to Horizon Europe, in particular to Horizon Europe Pillar 2. The overall budget will be substantially increased. If we go to the next slide, we will see that in the next framework program, the proposal by the Commission is to increase Horizon Europe budget to 175 billion euros. This is a substantial increase. It's not doubling, but almost the budget of Horizon Europe. And in the next slide, you will see that Horizon Europe, that currently articulates over three pillars, will have a fourth pillar devoted to the European research area that will bring together the widening pillar and the widening initiative and other aspects. And what we now call the global challenges in industrial competitiveness will continue to be covered by Pillar 2, that is now named Competitiveness and Society. There are 4 policy windows, as mentioned, that correspond to the ones of the European Competitiveness Fund, plus an area devoted to society. Society articulates in 3 sub-sectors: the missions, the NEB, the New European Bauhaus, and global societal challenges. Currently, culture and creativity are covered under global societal challenges, so they don't have a heading of themselves. And I think that's all. If I'm not wrong, this should be my last slide. Yes, thank you very much. If you have any questions, we are at your disposal either now or later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentations. We have a question from the audience, if this is okay. Yes, we will quickly take it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just a quick question. Under the pillar innovation in the new program, there is EIC mentioned, but no EIT. Is this covered under innovation ecosystems, or what does that mean?
I assume so. I will need to check. As you can imagine, I don't know the proposal by heart. I would need to check, but we know that the KIC will remain up and running as it has a contract for 7 years. And I would have to check. I assume it's in under the 3rd pillar, but I will let you know later on. In any case, all these proposals are online, so you can check yourself.
Great, wonderful. Thank you for answering, and thank you for your presentations. Great, then we move on to the next stage in the program. I will hand the word over to you, Stella.
Great, thank you, Mari. Hi again, everybody. Just to briefly introduce, just to briefly introduce the event, we're now in the policy clinic. The idea is that we would like to discuss a policy brief that has been developed as part of Pacesetters. The policy brief has been developed by T6 Ecosystems in collaboration with Mari and Florian. We've also conducted interviews with the real-world laboratories, and we also relied extensively on the map of challenges, another one of the documents produced by Pacesetters. So we have organized a short panel, and I would like to invite Florian, Anela, Teresa, and Johan to join us up here. We will have some questions for them with the purpose of providing insights and food for thought to all of you, and then we will have breakout sessions, breakout tables, where we would like to continue the discussion in a more interactive manner. So those of you that are attending online, please stay connected, because there will be a round table and a discussion facilitated by Marta online. And then we will convene back to this room where we'll present the results of these discussions, and then Florian will close the session. So please come up. Great, so I can start. Thank you again for agreeing to discuss the policy brief with us. And I have prepared some questions, but the idea is to sort of have a discussion and to provide food for thought to our audience. So as I ask the questions, I would also, I'm sure all of you already know the panelists, but I will briefly introduce them. So we start with Florian, professor at NTNU and coordinator of Pacesetters, and also the director of the Institute for Creativity at the University of Galway. Florian, I know you've been a big part of writing this policy brief, and as Pacesetters really focuses on artistic and practice-based research, how can artistic and practice-based research be more effectively recognized and integrated as a legitimate form of knowledge production, especially within the next MFF, which has already been mentioned by Juliana?
Yes, this is a very good question. And I think it's one of the reasons why it is so important that we come together and that we gather here. Because this is about the future of projects like Pacesetters that are not just research about the arts, like we know from the humanities and social sciences, where it's analyzed and historicized and judged and evaluated what artists are doing. With artistic or practice-based research through the arts, we mean knowledge production, or the production of a very peculiar form of knowledge, practice-based knowledge through the arts, rather than about the arts. So we are very proud and very honored that Pacesetters is one of the first projects, if not the first project, at least in Pillar 2, I would say. I think it's the first project. We found now some very interesting proposals in Pillar 1, in the excellence-based and the excellence pillar. But these are individual projects of artistic researchers, mostly from the field of music or contemporary music. So we are the first project that has artistic and practice-based research through the arts really in the center of the methodology. As we saw from the presentation by Juliana, this is not necessarily the case in the next MFF. So there is a big shift. We had a number of discussions in the Artistic Research Alliance, and we also drafted a kind of statement just a couple of days after this proposal for the next for FP10, the next framework program was published, and we made a very bold claim. And this runs a little bit counter to what the Commission is envisioning and what Juliana was presenting, where, of course, our default place for culture and creativity, or cultural heritage, and the cultural and creative sectors and industries, and inclusive society, which is also involved there in the current version. So the default place is under society. In this alliance of the large network organizations, the network of art academies, music conservatories, design schools, architecture, no, actually, maybe not the design schools, architecture schools, film schools, we made a very bold claim and said, no, wait a second. We also think that art and culture, heritage and creativity are absolutely essential when it comes to European competitiveness. So I think, to answer your question, very simple and short answer is we should not hide under the society headline, giving up on a program with its own destination and with its own goals and aims and ambitions as we know it now from Horizon Europe. I think we have to highlight, underline, stress, and repeat probably over and over and time and again that culture and creativity, the diversity of cultural heritage, and the diversity of cultural and creative sectors and industries in Europe is Europe's competitive edge. I think it should go without saying, but apparently this is absolutely not present in the current understanding and the current approach towards competitiveness. We have a couple of days now to discuss this more in detail. I'm looking forward very much to the statement by Teresa Ribera, who is the Vice President for not only for the just transition or the green transition, also for competitiveness. I think we have to use this opportunity in these days to highlight that if Europe has a competitive advantage in relation to the rest of the world, or other, not the rest of the world, other competing. We are talking here about the US, China, maybe Russia. And I think, I remember from many, many occasions and events, Christian Ehler is repeating this story with the Birkenback and from MS and how this is producing subjectivity or identity, and it's a tool of storytelling. No? We just have to, decontextualize this from the luxury brand management context and say this needs to be recontextualized in an understanding of Europe's competitiveness. And here I think it is very, very important not to be afraid or to be shy and say, competitiveness, this is kind of dirty. Let's not get our hands dirty. No? Let's stay away from competitiveness and find our comfort zone hiding somewhere under society between the European Bauhaus and the missions and the humanities. No? I think we have to make a very, very strong case and argue for a creative competitiveness, rather than the kind of destructive competitiveness that we experience at the moment by the big tech companies, where it's basically competitiveness is a synonym for eliminating any competitor. I consider this destructive. In the art world, in the cultural fields, we have these are highly competitive fields. No, we should not underestimate this. This is not kumbaya, everybody together, and just applying for a film school or an art school. These are extremely much more competitive fields than in, let's say, in engineering or in other disciplines. So, but it's a constructive, it's a creative competitiveness. And I think we have to highlight this. We shouldn't be afraid, and we have to see what happens.
Great, thank you. It's hugely important what you just said, and I agree that we have a great opportunity here at the Pacesetters Summit in the next 3 to 5 days to really showcase how art, creativity, and cultural heritage are part of European competitiveness and how they can be used for this European creative competitiveness and not destructive competitiveness, like Florian said. So now I turn to Professor Annela Angerkravi, Director of the Climate Change Policy Group at the University of Cambridge. I dropped my pen. Great. Annela, from your perspective and because of the work you've been doing in climate change, what is needed to scale up artistic research and innovation as a driving force for the green transition?
And thank you, I'm glad to be here. I think it's a very good question. Looking at the research we've been doing on the Pacesetters project, and one of the things we've been interested in is looking for evidence how culture and creative industries can contribute to the ongoing climate transition. And what we can see from the existing research is that the culture and creative researchers, industry researchers, or whatever you call them, artistic and cultural researchers, are just starting to find their feet in that field, in climate change field. So you see in recent years there are more papers published, but this is very recent. It's the last 5 years. So there's a lot to do. And on the other hand, it's quite visible that many climate change research projects, either it's climate change, about climate change policy or mitigation or adaptation, those projects also funded by the Horizon involve more and more artists, but the role in those projects is mostly visualizing the results, drawing pictures, maybe having a small performance about the results of the project, but not actually how these industries or these researchers can contribute to the transition. And that is there's still a long way to go. And you asked me what is needed. Obviously, funding is needed. That's we're all clear about. There needs to be dedicated funding, but also dedicated funding to research the role of artistic and creative industries and also heritage in climate change, because this is largely untapped. There's a big role to play. We have been discussing with people here, from heritage, just discovering things, how they've been done in the past. We're trying to kind of reinvent those things, but many things that are climate friendly, many practices are actually very old practices. Arts and all this, arts and creative industries have this unique angle in the climate transition that they enable to understand the process, understand also why some people don't feel really okay with the transition itself. There's a lot that can be done, changing behavior. There's need to move. Arts have been quite good in showing all the disaster of climate change. So visualizing that we don't do anything, don't do much, but there's a lot to do the other positive visualization. How can we thrive, or how can the world thrive once the climate change problem has been solved? So this is just the beginning, and for that, obviously, funding is needed, dedicated projects are needed, so that this artists just don't become some sort of visualizing or the kind of tools in projects. But there's a lot that these industries and these researchers in this field can do actually to help to drive the change. I hope I answered the question. The long-winded answer.
No, this is great. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the role of artists and creatives in climate transition, and I'm hoping that this is what we're doing with Pacesetters, to really highlight how instrumental artists and creatives can be in the climate transition, and that their role should not just be diminished in visualizing and in making things pretty, but they can have, artists do research, and they should be recognized as active agents of research. So we move now to Teresa Muela, former General Secretary of FAMP, and now working in the Directorate at the Department of Programming, Equality Policies and Networks. So I will ask the question in English, you will answer in Spanish, or in English, let's see, and maybe Nerea will help with some translations. Okay. Yeah? Okay. So, Teresa.
Ambulance.
Yes. How can local and regional governments collaborate with artists to develop more participatory, inclusive, and creative approaches to policymaking?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then if you can also tie this in with your experience at FAM to give us some concrete examples, that would be fantastic.
Thank you. The first, thank you so much. I am now actor. I am now expert. I only work in the Andalusian Federation of Country and Council. Our organization is a partner in this special project, and this is a big challenge for us. Because in this innovation ecosystem, the local government is the first step. And in my opinion, in this moment, we need to introduce new alliance, in the position, because all the person, all the people are imprescindible in this map. The Andalusian Federation is a big organization in our community. We have more than 700 of country council. And in this moment, we are in a special process, included innovation model, design new tools, because the making decision is change. And Pacesetters is a big opportunity to introduce a model to capitalization, because we have the big community in Spain, we have a special staff that need change in the job and change in the life. And this is the contribution, because at the end, we are persons that need to build Europe more green, more cohesion, more intelligent. And I think that when I talk about this project with Miguel, the mayor, always think that for us, the small village, the small country council is the best innovation lab. I need a special relation with the Genaguacil, because I think that the innovation lab is the result and the first step in this process. All the actors need to feel that are the principal actor. And in this moment, if we need to the circular economy, we need change the model. Not only the process, the element, the material, and the knowledge. And for Andalusian Federation, this is a big experience, because we need to transfer all the results to the rest of the municipality in our organization. I'm very happy because when I start to introduce the innovation terms, all the people in my organization say, "Are you crazy? You have a special vocabulary in Europe that no is in Spain, no is in Andalusian." And now when we are exchange experience and capacity with all of you, I say it's the way, because we need working together in this process. And in the Andalusian Federation say, okay, we need change, but we need that the European Commission heard all that results. And this is the solution, the policy paper. Because if we are all the time working inside and no comment with the staff in the European Commission, don't change anything. And in the second phase, we need that all the actors in this innovation ecosystem think that the local government is one, but we need to all the people, and it's added value if we have the artist in this process. And I need to express my convincement that this is for us a good present, because we are working in biodiversity, in climate change, in wetland process, in open data, but Pacesetters is crazy project, you know, because all the persons say, oh, what is this Pacesetters? And when I spoke with Florian, always say, we need training, because all the people are working in different direction, and we need sensibilization, because in the paper it's perfect, but which is the real way? We need to introduce conversation, we need to introduce personal feeling, and in our case, and finish, for the Andalusian Federation, it's a big opportunity to introduce new models that are working in the rest of the country in Europe with the local level, with the country council level, with an special play in the first step. Thank you so much.
There, I have another one.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teresa. It's very valuable to have the local perspective, and we really thank you for that. And also, I have to say that Teresa had translated the policy brief in Spanish.
Yes.
Which, yes, and
translation, no, interpretation, because in all the paper, never the local government, okay? Always the artist.
Yes, so I was going to say that it's important that policy briefs, especially when we want to make them relevant to the local government, it's not just a word-to-word translation, but like you said, it's an interpretation, because they need to reflect the local context so that they are relevant to it and so that locals can relate to it. And then also Teresa has agreed to lead one of the breakout tables in Spanish specific to the local context, so we are very grateful for that. Yeah. Great. So going back to the topic of artistic research, I now turn to Johan Harberg from the Society of Artistic Research. Johan, I would like to ask you to describe to us the way and the challenges in creating the Society of Artistic Research. What is it that you do, and what also remains to be achieved? And what are the challenges in the work that you still have to do?
Thank you. I'll try. So the Society for Artistic Research is a Swiss-based organization. It's the mixture, we could say, because it has individual members, institutional members, and also portal partners, which to a certain degree perhaps could be of interest in this situation here. We publish the now well-known Journal for Artistic Research, which is an online journal, peer-reviewed. And we organize an annual conference on artistic research. The next one will be with the host of the University of Galway in June 23rd next year. You're certainly welcome there. And not at least, we own and operate the research catalog, which is the world's largest presentation format for artistic research outcomes. Approximately 6,000 publicly available presentations or outcomes are available there, and there are around 30,000 registered users that uses the research catalog. And then the research catalog is particularly welcome by artists and artist researchers because it gives the opportunity to step out of the linear PDF format and present results the media, the demonstration of your practice directly into your presentation format, and in a way where you can actually decide in which way you present the media files compared to the text elements and that is something that very few institutional repositories, being museums or universities or whatever, can actually provide you with. You could do it by private websites to a certain degree, but their sustainability is not the same. We also, and that could be important, have provided each of the portal partners a direct way into the research catalog, where they can both brand their outcomes, but they can also present their activities towards this very large international environment of artistic research. And although the most of these portal partners now are educational institutions, we would highly actually look forward to have more from the cultural institutions to join us on this. So please consider and think about that. Then I will not speak so much about the creation as such, because I think that's more history and not so important. But what is important is that together with other European umbrella organizations, as Florian just mentioned, we have been working on strong advocate and recognition of and funding for artistic research now for a decade and a half, I think, something like that. We were co-authors of what is called the Vienna Declaration of Artistic Research. That was launched in 2019 and is a document that has been very widely used after that it was presented. And then I'll take you into a little bit of maybe a learning situation. Have you heard about the Frascati manual? Yes. Some has, yes, some has not probably. This is an OECD document that is created to recognize, to categorize, and to collect statistics of research all over. And it operates in 6 main knowledge domains, or they call it FORDs. That is the natural sciences, it is the engineering and technology, it is the medical and health sciences, it's the agricultural and veterinary sciences, it's the social sciences, and then there is the humanities and the arts. Now, the problem with this is that as soon as it comes to the arts, what is recognized is the research on the arts, but not the research that is provided actually from the arts. And this is what Florian referred to earlier. So the thing is that even that from 2015, arts is incorporated in the text of the Frascati manual. The reality is that by some, say, very uninformed conclusions, they disregard the whole actually knowledge of the arts in this respect. So it's if you are within the humanities and can look into the arts, then it's fine. But if you actually are providing knowledge within and from the arts practice, then it's not recognized as knowledge production or research. And this is a major challenge at the moment. And you could say the Pacesetters is an exception in this situation, that actually it was recognized to be part of a funding situation. And there are some countries that are a little bit more open than others, but in many countries, actually, these limitations that are within the Frascati manual is crucial for the funding. So within this umbrella organizations that I mentioned before, SAR has then been in the core group to create a proposal of how to amend the Frascati manual. basically saying that we want to create the knowledge domain of the arts as the seventh knowledge domain. So we take it out from the art, from the humanities, and create it as a basis of itself. And this is very long-term, very important to secure funding and recognition for what we are trying to do here. And what we do say at the same time, which is also an important element here, is that there are 5 criteria in the Frascati manual of what is recognized as research all over, all the 6 folds that I mentioned before. And that is that research has to be novel, it has to be creative, it has to be uncertain, it has to be systematic, and it has to be either transferable and or reproducible. And maybe in the art research it's not so easy to be reproducible. It is surely possible to be transferable. So there is no problem here. So this is, this is our main message in this, that we are still working very hard to get recognized. And I think also this is joined by this Artistic Research Alliance that was formed last year, that Florian also referred to. And there is a strong statement around this that was launched in August towards the European Union and also to the national stakeholders that actually define frameworks for artistic research. So this is basically what we are trying to do, to create the framework conditions for artistic research. So we are not doing the research in itself, but we are absolutely creating a very, very lively framework for doing that. If someone wants to talk about something more about this, I'm here for the rest of the days, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Johan, and thank you for describing the challenges in recognizing artistic research so eloquently, and also for giving us the example of the Frascati manual, which I think really shows what are the problems that we are facing right now and the way what still needs to be done. So to close up this panel, I have a question for all of you just to get your ideas on this. As I've said, the policy brief has been written with the goal of also providing recommendations for the next multi-annual financial framework. So as the EU prepares the next MFF, and we've heard Juliana discussing it and also describing some of its elements. What are the key opportunities and challenges for embedding cultural and artistic innovation across Horizon Europe, cohesion policies, and just transition mechanisms? Yeah, so what are the key opportunities and challenges for embedding cultural and artistic innovation across Horizon Europe, cohesion policies, and just transition mechanisms? I know, big question.
Yeah, no, I think, connecting to what Annela was pointing out, yeah, we have with Pacesetters and also the related projects, no? NMCino was mentioned by the head of unit, no? And their colleagues here. It's not only Pacesetters, I think it's a growing ecosystem of artistic research related proposals. We have also close collaborations, and also, I don't know whether they're already here, our colleagues from the Art Academy in Rome, who are working also on an AI model that is based or trained with artistic research, no? And the data from the research catalog, they will do some practical experiments in the next couple of days. So how do we own up to this challenge? No? How do we how do we develop a sense of responsibility that the privilege that we have with, for example, Pacesetters? How do we document the outcomes in a way that this enables and highlights a further increase of these opportunities, funding frames and support frameworks that are necessary? It's not only about money. I think what Johan said is very important. It's also about recognition, categorization. No, I mean fairly bureaucratic or formal acts. No, but they have consequences, and they format what is possible, what is considered to be possible, and what is not possible. No? So I think we have to use this opportunity that we have right now. We have to seize the opportunities that are popping up in the next work program, 26-27. It was very interesting, the headlines that Juliana presented here. And we have to document or use any possibility that we have at our hands to document that this is really not a nice to have. Yeah? So not something that if there's enough money, then you also support a little bit of practice-based research. This is absolutely essential in the context of the societal transitions. But this is an enormous responsibility. And it requires enormous amounts of work to document and present this in a form that it is convincing for policymakers. This is almost a mission impossible, because, I mean, artists and creatives, if they're really doing good work, then they increase complexity rather than banalizing and simplifying complex issues. Yeah. Although this is very often expected from us, yeah, when you turn this scientific journal paper into a very appealing 2 minutes YouTube video or Facebook posting. Yeah. On one hand, it's expected from us to turn everything into very simple messages. On the other hand, it's not really what we are good at, and it's not really what arts. Let's say, I wouldn't be too general here. It's not about arts and culture in general. It's about, I think, artistic and practice-based forms of research. Normally, they increase complexity. Yeah. Or this is their feature. So how do we communicate this to policymakers in a convincing way? I think we have created an atmosphere, or we are confronted with a milieu at the moment in the Commission that is absolutely open-minded. I mean, we see that terms like artistic research, you saw artistic intelligence as the title of a call. No? I mean, if somebody would have told me this, I mean, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, I said, okay, I mean, dream about something else. Yeah. So there is a high receptivity. No? There is an openness and also a curiosity. And this means that we just have to deliver, as simple as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I can only agree, but I think what also Johan said, that I don't think many see that artistic research has value in itself, and that's a big challenge. So I think we can, at least we should, probably attempt with Pacesetters to prove that and to show that it has value. And I think getting this recognition across is something that is very challenging. I was thinking in terms of, while Florian, I was listening obviously to Florian, I was thinking, trying to think at the same time, in terms of just transition, and so that's what also was mentioned earlier here today, that leaving no one behind. And our artistic research can contribute to this feeling of justice. That is another challenge, and to show it that there is a role to play, that, you know, making people feel comfortable in the transition process, and that can come from artistic research. But again, how to prove it to the funders that this is absolutely necessary, where there's difficulty of recognizing artistic research. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. You, Florian, remember, Pacesetters wasn't the first try, it was the second one, and it worked. So just keep trying. And if this project succeeds and we can prove the value and spread the word, so hopefully there'll be dedicated funding for new projects and for new artistic research, and particularly in societal transitions, such as the climate transition, digital transition, and also we need to think of the European aging population. That's another transition happening there. Yeah, I'm still hopeful. I believe the glass is half full rather than half empty, but let's keep trying. Shows the importance of what we do.
Thank you.
I have two words: healthy, and relationship. I think that the Horizon program gives to us the possibility that the talent of the university can travel outside the university to the local level. And this knowledge and this talent, it's in the same way to the other actors. Peer review is a special opportunity for us with Horizon, and Horizon could be possible multi-level, multi-sector, and governance in the first step to the way. And in this case, I think that we are commitment with Europe. I think I am absolutely since the local level to the Europe. We need to contribute, and we have this present, and why not in the new year other project that could be possible, that all the people in the same place with the same opportunity could be contribute to the green Europe, cohesion Europe, innovation Europe, and with the actors, but the actor commitment too. Okay, I think that this is my opinion. Healthy relationship.
Thank you. Yeah, not an easy answer to that, but if I try two things perhaps, the one would be to further strengthen the importance of not only heritage, but actually the vital, the livelihood of artists' practices and culture in these days in Europe today. Because I think with the disastrous developments that has happened on the other side of the Atlantic, I think we are in a situation where we can argue stronger than any time before of the importance of, not, as I said, not only the heritage, but also the actual live cultures and the need to protect and develop that as a security for further developments. And the other thing is a very practical thing, and that is something that was mentioned in the last presentation, I think, and that is there is a need for experts to actually do the assessment of the proposals that comes in, and we are far too few from the cultural sector, from the arts, that actually lines up as experts. So that is a very direct recommendation. Do see if you can list yourself, because that has been a problem. And if there is not anyone from the field that understands, the Frascati manual that I mentioned for you is an example of that. They say rubbish things about art and music, for instance, because they do not understand. They do not actually have the insights. And that is what happens also with projects if there is no experts there that actually talks on behalf of us. So please sign up if you have any opportunity to do that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you all so much. That was a very insightful conversation. So now I invite you all to follow us in room number 3, right, Mari? 2, sorry. For the breakout sessions, yes.
I need all the present. I need a multi-selfie with all the people.
Yep. And
why not?
Just a sec, the people who are online, stay online, and Marta will take care of you. And we will meet back here at, let's say, 5:20. Yeah, so in a little bit less than an hour. Great? Yes, I can introduce the tables. A question, yeah, let's do a question, and then we introduce the table, yeah?
Climate transition, digital transition, and aging transition. Aging population, yeah. I think you missed a fourth. I think 60 or 70% of us are about to live in cities within the next 20 years. 40% of climate change comes from the transformation of the urban environment. So the fourth one, where all of these are manifested, where those people live, where the digital transition is taking effect, is the built environment. So that is actually the physical site of a lot of those transitions. And it's kind of overlooked and falls between the cracks of all of the different, funding streams and discussions. But I just thought I'd highlight that thought as maybe a provocation even. There we go.
Thank you.
I can just say it's a very good point, yeah. It's part of those transition. I think it's close to, if I'm correct, 70% of emissions are from urban, greenhouse gas emissions from urban environments.
And it will become increasingly difficult to live in these cities. So what we also can anticipate, and we did a lot of work with our friends and colleagues from Genal-Gosil, this is why we highlight this topic of rural innovation. What we already experience is a mass exodus out of the cities, because you simply cannot afford living there anymore, and it will also become increasingly difficult due to the climate crisis. So these are not separate transitions, no? That are, the problem is that they are all interconnected and influence and affect and impact each other, and sometimes they accelerate the pace, sometimes it slows down the pace tremendously. Yeah? So these are nettings that are extremely complicated to separate. No, and it is a question, I would say, to these funding frameworks. Does it make sense to separate these challenges according to these 4, 5, 7 categories? Yeah? And wouldn't it be more interesting or more productive to look at, for example, the society cluster in Pillar 2, no, as something that really highlights and focuses the interconnectedness of all these challenges, no? But then, how should you evaluate it? if you do not depend on the specific silo expertise. No? This is also something that we encounter on a regular basis. In the moment when you do not only talk about cross-disciplinary collaborative research, in the moment when you really try to do it, you encounter very soon that you're rather penalized for this than rewarded. Yeah. Suddenly there is no funding anymore. Suddenly there is no review panel anymore. Suddenly there are no peer reviewers who have the confidence to analyze this. But I think this is, I mean, what Johan highlighted, I mean, we should really, maybe SARE is, the Society for Artistic Research would be a good platform for this. I mean, how do we develop this confidence and expertise to sign up as an evaluator? I think we need a support structure to make this happen. It's not just who raises their hand. Yeah. I mean, but we see this on all levels, no? I mean, it starts with simple peer reviews for conference contributions, and it ends with. I mean, they're flooded with proposals in the work program 25. They simply don't have enough evaluators. Yeah. And this also limits the funding stream, because then the European Parliament says we allocated more than 2 billion euros, yeah, and you were not able to spend it.
They want to double it, double funding, probably need twice as many evaluators. I know I shouldn't say that, but I've been evaluated more than 10 years. So if you want to sign up and want to talk to someone, to come to me, it's not difficult. Promise, it just takes some time. There's a very good guidance how to do that. And as long as you speak fairly good English, it's doable. So it's not scary. Just sign yourself up.
Great, thank you. Yes, let me just very briefly say the 3+1 table. So the first one is scaling artistic research and innovation for climate transition, facilitated by Annela. The second one is recontextualizing innovation through collective place-based practice, facilitated by me. The third one is leveraging arts-based innovation for decentralized governance models by Mari. And the idea is that we do 15 minutes in each table and we rotate. And the fourth one is the discussion of the policies at the local context, facilitated by Teresa. Great. And one online, I'm sorry, by Marta.
Hello, hello, our participant online. Oh, I see Adnan, I see Anna, Juliana, Anastasia, Nefeli, Tiziana. Okay, we have. Let's wait half a minute because people are leaving the room, and we will start the discussion. Okay, we can start, and I will be glad if you can share your impression about the new framework program and how we can embed artistic research and culture and creative sector into the program, because the discussion is ongoing. We discussed the challenges, and I would like to know what are your perspective on this issue and how you imagine we can opt for including culture and creativity in the next framework program. I do not see the chat. The chat is quite small, so if you can raise your hand or take the floor, I will be happy to discuss with you. No one? Adnan. Oh, yes, Juliana, please. Our technical staff, can you unmute Juliana or unmute all the participants? Okay, Juliana, please, the floor is yours. Oh, no, it's Anastasia. Sorry, Please, Anastasia.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, super.
Okay, great. I think again, like it's a quite a complex discussion, and I think it depends really, you know, what kind of organization, or it's like an individual, yeah, an artist, yeah. We represent, yeah, people who are in the room. For instance, in my case, I'm building a small collective in Berlin, and I think it's already interdisciplinary, yeah. So the way I'm building it now, because when I read, you know, artistic intelligence, the question is always, is it coming like from one artist, you know, or is it like a group of people? So I think this is something that I think it would be good to clarify it more, you know, if, yeah, like it's about organization, institutions, yeah, that, you know, work toward, yeah, or are doing this research. And yeah, and again, that was discussed just a couple of minutes ago in how far it is documented, yeah, on what kind of levels it is documented, yeah. Because another issue that we have with artistic research, sometimes it's a practice, and people, you know, they don't document or don't document enough according to certain criteria. Yeah, so like I think it's good to clarify the criteria that are understandable for, let's say, for the European Commission, but also, let's say, for other actors in Europe. Yeah, so as long as as long as it's vague, it's not easy to kind of you know, be in this space. This is just my feedback so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. Yes, you touched a nice a point that we need the understanding from both sides. Yes, because the founding side is quite complicated of looking from the point of administration, documenting, and dealing with all this bureaucracy side. And the artist needs to understand how to do it and how to document the work. So it needs more formalized and more institutionalized approach than independent individual artists. So this is the one of the challenges I think you mentioned. Yes.
Yeah.
So this understanding. However, the artist, if we take as a kind of, how to say it, is a really important trigger for action, for discussion, reflection, and without this trigger, sometimes it's difficult to move to discuss, to make focus on some issues. Yes, so it could be really a starting point of all other actions, and we need these triggers to activate and to be part of the changes, and not let the changes make ourselves changed, but be a part of this transformative process and have impact on that. So I recognize the work of the artist. However, it's really difficult to merge and to combine these two approaches of bureaucracy and informal, active, involuntary sometimes work, which is difficult to structurize and to put into the frame of a research project. So this is the challenge. However, if we have some institution like Pacesetters project, it's possible, but it's quite complicated to collaborate together. Do the artists has this collaborative feeling and want to collaborate, or are they rather individualist and working on their own? This is also my question: how much we can make artists contribute to the collective work together with the scientists, together with the society, academia, how we are open for collaboration, for different perspectives, and changing a little bit our behavior, our project to build something together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. True.
True, but I have no response for that. Yes, we are working on the Pacesetters, and there is a lot of barrier, a lot of challenges. How to establish a common ground, how to understand each other, and how to respect also our independency in work, thinking, contributing to the project. So it's possible. However, I'm not sure how in the new framework program it will be possible, or it will be space for that. Yes, as we seen that the new framework program is driven by the competitiveness, by the energy security. So what is the role of the artist in this global trend of the climate transition, of the social transition, of this digital transition?
Maybe just to add one point, like, this is not a solution, but just a thought. Like to look more into maybe interfaces. So I think, especially with regard to art, like an artist can have his or her they, individual practice, but, how it is interfacing, or it could be a collective of artists, but how is it interfacing into the outside, yeah? Like in connection, let's say, with other fields, yeah? I think maybe it's good to study these interfaces, because this way, you don't limit the creativity, of certain groups, but at the same time, you see how, they kind of impact, yeah, or how they interplay with other areas. So maybe it's just like I'm spontaneously, coming up with some ideas. So could be something to look into, like into interfaces, yeah. So yeah, because it's a little bit, as we just spoke, the practice of an artist is a little bit different, than of a biologist, yeah, or an engineer, yeah. Like when they work in a certain field, yeah. And I think art is touching upon, can touch upon different aspects of other fields, yeah.
Yes, the art is not limited by the disciplines and has no really the frames, so it's easier for art to transgress all the borders and show the how to say, the white spots, yes, the missing points, the place when we need intervention, yes. However, sometimes the projects are described in the way that the artist has a specific precise role, and it's really difficult to make artists work in the specific fields to contribute to the energy security or even climate transition, yes, because no everyone wants to be framed by the goals, by the outputs, by the KPIs, and even the language of the project is really restricting the access and the freedom of our activities. So this is also one of the biggest barrier. And from the other side, I think that the founding bodies, like Florian said, and Anela, we need understanding of the artist, and there is no big understanding from the assessors and experts in European Commission, because there is no many artists in this group. Yes, when the project is assessed by scientists from different science, like informatics or mathematics or something, it's difficult to acknowledge the input and contribution of the artists. So perhaps we need to go deeper into the structures and into the ecosystem, and how to say, penetrate the structures and be visible also on the side of decision making and assessment of the project, because I'm not sure how many artists take active part in the assessing Horizon projects or being advisors of the policy making.
Yeah.
This is rather the role of social sciences, but we have also Paulo and Adnan, who are the part of cost action. Adnan, and I know you from the cost action on artistic research, and Paulo is now leading the cost action on artistic intelligence. Can you contribute or just share some experience how this cost action contribute to the creating networks and building the ecosystem who is artistic research and contribution or participation into the new 10th framework program? And you are muted. Okay, I think, Anastasia, we are alone because no other participants are contributing to our discussion.
But maybe just to explain, like it's in the corner, yeah? My microphone is in the corner. I don't know, it's in the, like if I sit in front of the screen, it's in the left corner. Maybe they don't find it.
Yes, but okay. And Anna Nefeli, are you there? Anastasia, I have one question, because you are working in NGO dealing with artists. You are yourself artist?
I'm a self-taught artist, and I'm actually coming from like more economic background, and I supported artists in the framework of an art school for 8 years almost, and now I'm kind of transitioning into this collective. And also with the migrant people, recent migrants. Somebody's talking.
But I'm not sure if it's Paolo or a background noise.
Yes,
yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was sending a message because I'm in a more somehow public space. I fear that may be too much noise behind. But very briefly, let me take on your question regarding how cost is contributing also to the effort. I think that's been led by Pacesetters. As you know, our cost action, artistic intelligence, is also trying to deal with the role of artistic research in not just changing mentalities. Well, in a certain way, it's a way how artists can actually reply to the challenges of AI in the cultural sector, but also to addressing the urgencies of our own time, and climate change is, of course, one of them. But I would say that the main contribution that we are trying to have, it's the creation of the network itself. Because one of the challenges that we have in artistic research is the tendency for fragmentation. It's very, very difficult for people who are working in the field to go beyond traditional spaces where artistic research and artistic and cultural practices usually are made, and to create these connections to start thinking about common solutions for problems that are shared. So that's what we are trying to do for the next 3 years. Our cost action has different groups that have a common goal. The adaptation strategies is actually also trying to address how the cultural sector is adapting and what type of projects and solutions are being developed to address the digital shift. But this is not a question of artists against AI or artists that are obsessed with AI. It's, I think, what we shared is the conviction that there are other that artists can actually lead the transformations and can inform the application of AI systems in the cultural sector and beyond the cultural sectors. Also, the collective intelligences group, and I think this has a lot to do with Pacesetters. We need to understand that artists cannot work alone in this in contemporary ages. We need to build a trust with other sectors, with STEAM, with sciences, with technology, with engineering, with mathematics, with the social sciences. Only then, actually, I think it's possible to find the solutions. The referencing framework is another group that's trying to address the visibility of artistic research in the research area. I think this is also something that we often take for granted, that people know what we are doing, and we realize they are not. It's our work sometimes has very limited impact and influence. And then the policy making and recommendations. How can we actually transform all the discussions that are being held by artists, by scientists within our cost action, and to be able to transform them into something that can be used by decision makers in the universities, in city halls, at the European level. So in a nutshell, let's say this is our also the reason why we are so interested in what is being made by Pacesetters in all the discussions that you are having. So thank you.
Thank you, Paulo. Yes, it's a wonderful initiative to just bring all the artists, scientists together in the pan-European large network to work together in the working groups and to give them a space to just invent new projects and give them also the tools, because there are short-term scientific missions and support for local events, mixing workshops and working together for a new application research project and just meeting all the perspective of different kind of academics, yes, from artistic schools, from university, from polytechnics, to work together on the research project and common initiative. So I really appreciate this action, and also the topic how to reflect the digital transition in the artistic research, in the artistic projects, and how to challenge also the changes related to the digital transition is the most I think one of the most urgent issue we are facing now. So how to embrace AI, yes, into artistic intelligence. So yes, bravo for you for leading this cost action and for this wonderful opportunity for the artists to meet each other and to work on these challenging topics. Thank you, Paulo. I'm not sure if Adnan can unmute and is with us, because I know Adnan from previous cost action, and from this cost action a lot of projects were born, also research project, but also the project from on the educational side, because education with research cannot go separated. We need to educate people, and even research is education of ourselves, because we are discovering truth. So this is the issue, and we can discover truth by the regular research according to the Frascati manual, but we also can discover truth through the artistic experimentation, artistic research. So this is also a kind of path we can follow. But coming back to the financing of the artistic research, perhaps the the research is not only unique path for financing the artistic research project, perhaps more educational, citizen-oriented projects are this one who are also the opportunity, the field we can experiment and introduce some project. What do you think about? Should we look the place of should we look for financing only in a research project, or do you think the SERF action or Erasmus or other fields are also a good opportunity to develop artistic research, to recognize the work of the artist for the society, for the development, for our better future and quality of life? Adnan is still muted. Tiziana is not responding. Nefeli. And Anastasia.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, wow, super. Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I would just take the last question that you like. The conversation is super interesting, and actually, most of the important things have already been said. So I will, answer on the education part, because I believe that it's super important what you have mentioned now about education. And I think we need to take this also to other, like, as you said, Erasmus projects or whatever, to help students from the very beginning to understand, like students in both sides, like in art universities or like in other sciences, to understand the the good of this collaboration. So if students that study art can understand what they can do beyond the classic artistic practice that may have in mind, it's very important. And actually also from the other side, like students that study technology or science can have an idea of the goods that they can have from collaborating later on in their career with other disciplines, more creative disciplines. So I would definitely say that we need to take this also in the education, in the curriculum somehow. I don't know how we can do that, but it's important. And myself, I teach in a small art school in Greece, and I try to explain to the students that they need to think beyond traditional practices that they may have already encountered so far, and understand that they need to find ways also to collaborate, to discuss, to communicate with other disciplines as well. Yeah, this is my.
Thank you, Nefeli. I'm wondering how much we can compare communicating in different disciplines as learning different language. Yes, because sometimes we have this impression working on the Living Lab that we are talking the same language. However, we are using different vocabularies and having different understanding of the matter we are discussing. So perhaps we need some more openness toward the different disciplines, not being in the silos of education, research, human science, artistic science, social science, and so on, and having this freedom for understanding each other and learning different languages. And this is also a kind of proposal for administration and bureaucracy to be open for a more experimental way of research, of acting, for learning by doing, and looking into the process as something valuable, which can be also a KPI, not only a product, but also a process conducted and the learning experiment we are part of. I'm not sure if I'm clear in expressing this idea. However, we need to learn ourselves to teach others the way we are perceiving the world, we are working, and then to implement a kind of update to the administrative forms, to the procedures, to be more open for the collaboration, for the different understanding of the matter, not only the purely strict as we have in Frascati manual or in all the forms of the proposal, when the KPIs are really on the head of every goals, and the KPIs are sometimes taking over the power of our proposal, not really the process we would like to conduct. Because in my understanding of what we have now, sometimes we are in times that we need to focus more on the process than on the output, because in the VUCA world, yes, very changing, unstable, and difficult environment we are living. We had a COVID pandemic, we are war in Ukraine, we have war in Gaza, we have a lot of crises ongoing and coming. Perhaps we need a kind of mental switch to not focus on the KPI and the output, and to go for the output in every project, but to involve people in the process and guarantee a kind of change through this process. So no matter how this process will evolve in time in our proposal, it will be a kind of artistic research as well, yes, because the artistic research is focusing on the process, not on the output. So we can learn also from artistic research how to conduct new activities, how to transform approach, how to learn and teach each other. What do you think?
Yeah, personally, I totally agree with you, and we need to unlearn sometimes what we have already learned, and find new ways on engaging with the problems that we need to face, definitely. And regarding the vocabulary, we need, I think, a lexicon that is, I don't know, a new lexicon for everyone to understand, or I don't know, to use language that is more like common for everyone. I don't know how we can do that, but definitely we need such a new vocabulary in order to communicate.
more inclusive towards different discipline and not excluding someone who is not from our discipline, yes, to feel comfortable to work with us. And we have Tiziana. I'm so happy that you raised your hand. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for this conference. I've tried to follow as much as I could. I'm connecting from Berlin. I had posted my question in the Q&A box because the chat is deactivated. And since you raised the topic right now, I think I voice it out or I speak it loud. Indeed, I come more from the institution that offers support to artists and artistic practice, mainly active in Erasmus or Creative Europe projects. So I'm not really familiar with Horizon. That's why there might be some slight difference in complexity, but in principle is the same. And my question or my note goes in the same direction of what you have just mentioned regarding the KPI. In my question, I exactly raised this point. If there is a current possibility to transfer the impact, so the strong value of qualitative outcomes and focus more on that is exactly more in line not only with the artistic practice, but also all in all in line with what we call societal transformation, which is in the end what we want to reach. So my question or my comment here was exactly that. How do we deal with, on the one end, the need to deliver the KPI, the need to deliver the quantitative indicators and numbers and facts. And even though we produce reports or produce feedback paper, etc., the focus goes more on process and on quality. And in the end, I also understand that if we want to inform a policy and if we want to talk to the policymakers so that we get more budget, etc., we do need a fact proof. And this I hear more and more. Even though I'm based in Germany, the Foreign Affairs Ministry cuts on culture. All local administration in Berlin cuts on culture. When it goes hard on art, we have heard it today as well. There are some other strands where the pipeline is more filled up. So if we don't somehow find a strategy to collect hard facts, to say artistic actions are as much as other type of action contributed to societal change, we cannot fight, let's say, fight back on this discourse. And so my question was if there are around the room any good practice on that. And sorry for being long. And thank you for the event. I'm following you also on the LinkedIn, and I much appreciate the possibility to jump in digitally at some stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiziana. Yes, the understanding of the qualitative and quantitative data is different in different disciplines. Yes, because for the social science, quantitative data can be also qualitative data can be also measured. So we can measure people who gave testimonials for change, for understanding and other things. So it's really up to us how we document this qualitative process. Yes, but I think the main issue is how to document it, how the assessors, how the financing body, how the project auditors, or however we call it, are open for a new interpretative, open kind of data, because this qualitative data can be also recording, can be also a kind of data recorded by intervention, by some testimonials, some feedbacks, some changes we can observe. So there is a lot of different type of documenting and collecting data. Even this data is not quantitative. We can document and we can prove that something is working, something is changing, something is valuable and worth to be implemented as a process. So for that, I think it's good to just work together with the social scientists, because they have different kind of tools, like diaries, like journaling, like different type of testimonials they can collect. Then they can do data analysis of some patterns, some sentiments. So it's now the options are quite wide. However, what is important is to have support from different perspectives, from different sides, because the artist is not necessarily the specialist in social research and analysis of data or data visualization. So perhaps it will be good to just work, collaborate together and build a kind of framework, a kind of research procedure in artistic research, which will also document and bring us some data. Because the artist is focused on the process, is not taking care of the documentation sometimes. So perhaps it will be good to have support from other side. Yes.
Thank you very much. I wrote a short answer in the chat box. So thank you very much for your sharing your experience. Thank you.
And what I'm afraid is quite a big barrier, that are the national funding schemes for science, because interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary science is sometimes treated as out of the framework, and when there is money for some type of research, every research which goes to the peripheries can be cancelled. So this is also the risk, that we do not fit the framework established by our policymakers, yes, which are quite rigid, because everyone is taking care of their own discipline, and we have a lot of silos between in our human, artistic, social, scientific, engineering research and fields. And I think this is the problem, that we are not open for the cross-disciplinary approach. Any final remarks? Because we focused more on the artistic research and how to connect the dots and how to make this artistic research more visible thanks to the collaboration in the ecosystem, not really on the financing side. And we are here to discuss how to push into implementation of the cultural and creative industry into the 10 framework program. So how to find the place of this artistic research in the funding schemes. But I think artistic research, yes?
Maybe just like, because you just asked this question, maybe like one final suggestion from my side, because this was also kind of mentioned, yeah, through the discussion before on stage. So, and in a way, when we're now talking about it, you know, there are a lot of working fields. So in a way, we have to kind of unlearn the existing framework of funding for, let's say, arts, yeah, and maybe propose a new one. So it can have different elements. It can have a, you know, from, let's say, from the Commission, can have certain element. It can have certain elements from, you know, evaluating organization. Again, you know, from artistic organizations or artists. So it can be some kind of a new framework, more like open framework. I think it's also part of the discussion in this room, you know, this self-organized framework, yeah.
Yes.
So it could be something going in this direction, and of course, you know, because you know, the processes until it's, you know, confirmed and so on are quite long. It can be like a first prototype, and then just to see what would be the feedback or what would be the response of the, let's say, artistic community to it. Yeah. So it's a project in itself. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But I think there are so many, let's say, moving parts that, and I think it's good to use like all these moving parts to make something out of it. So otherwise, the way we talk right now, wherever you try to go in this direction, there is some kind of stone, you know, on your way. You go to this direction, there is something else on your way. So maybe it's just a new framework that different people can contribute to, yeah. So different groups, and see where it goes. Yeah. So maybe it's a project in itself that can be proposed to this artistic intelligence call, you know.
Yes, we have already artistic intelligence and Paolo is representing it. However, I'm wondering if we need some kind of missions, yes, because mission sounds, there was a cancer mission, there was a climate mission in a recent framework, so perhaps we can be involved in the mission drafted project. That means that we need to collaborate, we need to join forces, we need to involve different players from different sides, also the artistic research, to drive the change and to respond to the challenges and mobilize society, because without society there is no really the impact of the project, even if it's educational, even if it's research project. So this crucial part of the project is how to involve society, how to communicate action and activities, and communicate in more original, involving, engaging way. So artistic research and the process of the artistic research can be itself a kind of communication, engagement, dissemination, and change process. Yes. So I will just, I think, finish on that point, or if you have any final remarks, I would like to hear it. But I think that artistic research is a fantastic tool to engage people, to make people think, reflect, and change the way they act thanks to this process they are part of in the artistic research. if there is no final comments, I will thank you. And
thank you.
Yes, please.
No, I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we will have a small break, and the other groups from different breakup rooms will come, and then we will share our findings inside. So I would like to thank you for your contribution, and I was really happy to discuss with you this issue, even in this online forum. But yeah, this is also the tool which make us available in the different part of the globe, thanks to the digital tools. And we have still new incomers. Yes, Mario, Adam, I'm not sure if you want to contribute. If you want to present yourself and speak on artistic research, we have still time. So the call for a break was not necessary if you want to share something. No, we have in attendees. Not panelist? Ah, okay. Okay. So, thank you. So I call for a break. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I hope we will meet someday in person and discuss it in one of the conferences, or perhaps we will draft together some projects. Thank you.